Hi everybody, this is Greg with Enquisite, and I am at the CMO Summit sponsored by Aberdeen, which is one of the leading analyst firms here in our space. And what we have today is basically a day and a half of talking about different issues related to things that CMOs ought to be thinking about, objectives, strategies, those sorts of things, techniques and tactics. And it's really a big conversation, certainly a lot of learnings from the Aberdeen folks, but a conversation also with the people who are here. It's a smallish group, about 200, 250 people, and I'm really thrilled to have Tim Bailey here, who's one of the participants in the summit. And Tim runs his own strategy company called Alliance Strategies, and based here in Silicon Valley. And Tim focuses actually on social media, social networking, specifically related to what CMOs ought to be thinking about. Right. And Tim's got a lot of great experience. He's a software developer at heart, but has sort of evolved from that.
Called myself a recovering engineer.
Recovering engineer into working with HP and did you say
Silicon Graphics back when they were in their heyday.
Absolutely. And now consults and essentially describes and guides folks on what to think about in terms of social media strategy,
right,
organic search to some degree too. So Tim, what are your thoughts, early on about what CMOs ought to be thinking about related to social media today?
I think social media and social networking are really key to the future. It's kind of like, I think about thinking differently. It's part of the mix. It's not going to replace everything, but they need to start experimenting with it. They need to start taking advantage of it. They need to think about how they move up in the ratings. What you all do is very exciting. I think helping people with organic search and making sure that they're visible. And social networking is the way to do that, in my mind, also, is to create blogs, to create a presence using videos and using various methods.
Are you finding that CMOs and VPs of marketing are more receptive to this, or they want to jump in with 2 feet without really thinking about it? What are you finding in your experience?
I'm finding people are moving slowly toward it. Mm-hmm. They're it's scary. It means loss of control a little bit. I actually am working with a director of marketing of a nonprofit, and we're trying to establish a series of rules, kind of guidelines, because they're not rules, to help people understand how they use Twitter, how they use Facebook, how they're going to use LinkedIn, that things on LinkedIn are not just, the resume. It's much, much more. And Twittering is not about going for coffee. It's tweeting about things that are really important to your audience.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that you've seen so far at the show here today that really kind of resonated with you?
I enjoyed the presentation, particularly by the individual from Cisco. He did Ken did a great job on talking about how they took advantage of the social network without using the standard sites. Basically, Cisco used social networks of the people that they brought in to quote contests. And I think contests is a new way of thinking about getting people to engage with a company. And I can see there are a lot more of those kind of things going on. And what I thought was interesting, his point was he ran sequential contests so that he got the traffic, and he said he got 4x the traffic by having these contests. And what they were able to do was get the artists who were creating videos to come in and call all their friends to vote on their videos. And with 3/4 of the voting being based on how they voted, I could see how they just generate interest in what they're doing. Plus, they're getting great free, videos to go show and advertise with.
Exposure and
exposure,
yeah, absolutely. So we'll put a link on our blog about that specifically. Yeah. I think that program was called Digital Cribs.
Yes, it was Digital Cribs.
Ken described it as a pretty resounding success.
Yes.
As well as candidly describing some things they tried that didn't do so well, but
right.
That's part of the process that we're trying to really engage with. just finishing up now, top 3 things that a business decision maker, VP of marketing, CMO ought to be thinking about when starting to engage in social media.
I think they need to think about what their goals are, okay, who their audience is, how they're going to get to their audience. That's the first thing they need to think about. And then they need to move slowly into it. It's an evolving process. Some things will work, some things won't. They need to analyze how things are working, what's not. Then they need to react and adjust. And I think that, you know, it's all about being visible, having customers promoting you.